Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1992's Death Becomes Her. And before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on X or Twitter or whatever it's called this week, you can follow me at Junior D's. You can follow Corey at Corey_idol. And if you want to follow us on Twitter X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you can follow us at Kiss the Reviews. Let's get into the cast of 1992's Death Becomes Her. This film stars Meryl Streep as Madeline Ashton Menville, Bruce Willis as Dr. Ernest Menville, and Goldie Hawn as Helen Sharp.
First off, I hate the term guilty pleasure because I don't think you should feel guilty about liking something. Like, if you like it, you like it. It's your fucking opinion. I don't care what other people think about it. Unless, of course, you're like, a pedophile, a murderer, or a Republican. Like, those are the three things maybe you should feel guilty about. But other than that, I think it's safe. Like, if you like it, don't feel guilty about it. But I will say this. I love Bruce Willis in comedy so much that my guilty pleasure movie is Hudson Hawk. I love Hudson. Like, I think he is fucking great in these movies. Yeah. And when you have a director and a cast around him that can rein him in, he fucking shines.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, this character was a lot like James Spader's character in Mannequin. And much like, because I really like James Spader. Mm-hmm. And I think he really did a good job, even though Mannequin's dog shit, that he did a really good job with that character. Bruce Willis, like, his range of doing like serious, action type films to doing something like this that's a little bit more silly and tongue-in-cheek, and I'm just going to be goofy basically for the whole film. Like, his range of doing different characters like that is really good. Mm-hmm. He's almost like Keanu Reeves used to be for me. Because everybody, the knock on Keanu was he's not a good actor, but I love everything he's in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Bruce Willis, I was never a huge fan of. Like, I liked the Die Hard franchise and some other things that I was in, but I was never a huge Bruce Willis fan. But now, as I start looking at all of his stuff, I'm like, my God, like, he's just really good at what he does.
Yeah, he's low-key a good actor who made the unfortunate mistake of making an album playing a harmonica once.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I think that turned him off to everyone.
Yes.
Him and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton playing the sax, him playing the harmonica, and it's like, all right, enough with the wind instruments. Can we just settle the fuck down here, guys?
Yeah, but Bill Clinton's fingering was on point.
Oh!
I'll be performing at Ha-Ha's on Wednesday.
But let's get into this film. I'll say this before we start. I was surprised at how much I liked it this time around.
This is going to be a massive spoiler. You're usually the one that does this, and I save mine till the end as much as I can. I love this movie. This is in my constant rotation.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it when we were doing She-Devil. And you said, if you want a better version of She-Devil, watch Death Becomes Her. And you couldn't be more right.
Well, thank you.
I don't
this
like
agreeing. Reviews. Goodbye.
I don't like agreeing with you like that, but you were 100% on point with that. But let's get into this one. So this film opens in 1978 as Madeline Ashton is performing on Broadway. Her childhood friend Helen Sharp and Helen's fiance Ernest Menville are in the crowd as others in the crowd are sleeping and walking out.
I don't know much about Broadway. Shocking, I'm sure. I've seen Hamilton. I've seen Book of Mormon. I've seen some of those type of plays, some of the more popular types of plays. Yeah. I haven't been, though, a Broadway aficionado. However, when you can make a bad Broadway show like they do here, it is so fucking funny. And it's so obvious what bad is. It's almost like porn. You know what I mean? Like, you can't define porn, but you know it when you see it. I don't know a bad play, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
And the way they are able to do this is so great.
And then it cuts to backstage, and Helen and Ernest go to see Madeline, where she flirts with Ernest. And then it cuts to Madeline visiting Dr. Ernest for advice because he's a plastic surgeon. Helen is scared that Ernest is falling for Madeline. So flash cut to Ernest and Madeline getting married.
Yeah, Ernest isn't really hiding it either. Like, from Jump Street. And I'll just throw this out there.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, guys. Uncle Corey here. It's really exciting when you get to meet your celebrity crush. But also, if you have somebody else on your arm, tone it way the fuck down and close your eyes when you're having sex later that night.
Yes.
This is so far out of control. I don't know how he made it home, still in a relationship.
He soiled his pants in the backstage area.
Yeah, and not like pee or poop.
No.
It was definitely had a wet dream whilst awake.
It was definitely a frontal soiling, for sure.
Yeah.
But it then cuts here to 7 years later, and we see Helen, who's fallen into a deep, like, depressing spiral. She's gained weight. She's become the cat lady, and she's evicted for not paying rent, and she's put into a mental institution.
I'm trying not to make this a PSA show, but...
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, Hollywood. Uncle Corey here. Put more people in fat suits. It plays. It totally plays.
You were right.
She gets evicted here, and she's sent to this mental hospital, and after months of therapy, she hasn't gotten any better. Her obsession with Madeline Ashton is still there. Her psychologist tells Helen that she needs to completely eliminate Madeline from her mind, and Helen takes her advice to heart.
Yeah, Helen's gone way off the deep end.
Yes.
And also, thank God for tenant laws now, because no longer can they just break your door down when you are, like, going to be evicted and, like, threaten to throw you out and do all this. Like, they can threaten all they want, but as long as you don't leave your house, they can't actually throw you out. Ask me how I know.
Well, the one thing that I found funny, it was like, not only it's like, okay, you're not paying rent. Cool. You're a poor. Fine. I get all those things, right? The whole, like, police ramming the door open, and okay, I'm even totally cool with that at this point, right? But they then, without, like, I don't know, any paperwork, they're just like, we're just going to throw you in the fucking loony bin because you didn't pay your rent.
Early 80s were the time, man. It was morning in America, and Reagan was done taking your shit, poor.
100%.
This is also a lesson, I think, here for all the extras in the world. Like, when you make it to a movie, unless the director tells you otherwise, remember the situation you're in. Because Goldie Hawn is probably, 110 pounds in this movie at best?
Yeah.
Yet she's in this fat suit that's putting her around 3-4 bills. So when you're the cop and you have to pick her up out of the chair, act like you're not picking up 100-pound little waif elf woman. They just go, whoop, out she goes. And I get it. It's a comedy, and that's not the point. But also, it's a comedy, and you could have added something where they tried to pick her up once, and like, Jesus Christ. And they, like, actually have to, like, bend their knees and put some effort into it.
Live with your legs, not your back.
Dude, how funny would that have been? Just for one scene.
We then cut to another 7 years later. So now we're 14 years removed from the opening. Madeline's career has slowed considerably. She's obsessed with holding on to her youth and her looks. Ernest has become a drunk mortician who hates his life. And Madeline receives an invitation from Helen to attend her book release party. And Madeline goes there expecting to see overweight Helen, but she sees that she's now skinny and beautiful, and she gets unbearably jealous here immediately.
So did I, of Kurt Russell, because Goldie Hawn looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, the Goldie Hawn of it all, the Goldie Hawn era was fantastic. Like,
bro, on the real, I don't think people understand what she was.
Yeah, she that was my lady. I had a lot of ladies back then. I was like, that's my lady. She's my number one. That's my lady. Like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what color you were, how tall you were. Like, if you were even this much attractive, now, mind you, I was about 13 at this point. So, like, I was like, everybody was my lady. I had zero. I was like, baby boy. Like, I had zero. It was like this one, that one, didn't matter what. I wanted it. And Goldie Hawn was at the top of that list.
I'm 24 and I still feel the same way.
I like how you get younger every show we do. Good on you.
The biggest mistake any of our viewers ever made was calling us a millennial. Because now I'm just like, I'm a millennial. You're right. It says I got a fake ID that says I'm 24. I'm going backwards on my fake ID.
Just FYI, a millennial only means like you're like 2 years younger than you actually are. So
look at me, I know math. Eat a dick, Newton.
So the owner of Madeline's spa that she goes to gives her a business card of someone he claims that can help her look younger. And after catching her young lover cheating on her, he tells her that she's too old for him. And she then goes to see Lissel von Rumen.
I like the German of it all.
And it's so like at fun. It's at this castle. And all right, I just got a quick don't do that for you.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, people out there looking for whatever. If you're looking for good deals on products that you want to buy, if you're looking to get younger, you're whatever. And somebody, a professional, goes, hey, here's this card. And it could be fucking Steven von Blubla. Doesn't matter what the name is. As soon as you hear a name like this, Lissel von Rumen, that's an immediate no-go. That's a no-fly zone. No good can come of that, okay? Nothing good has ever come of that. Best case scenario in this situation is you end up in like German pee and poo porn.
Hell yes.
I half agree, half disagree with you on this. Because one, you sound a little bit like New Money, and it's disgusting. So to anybody out there that is New Money, when somebody hands you a business card for Lissel von Schnuschen, fucking take it, and that's how you know you've actually made it in this world, because you get the special things that nobody else is allowed to get. Now, given the time frame of when this movie came out, if somebody hands you a business card for Lissel von fucking Schlusen or whatever the shit, any kind of German, Austrian, Bavarian sounding name in the late 70s, early 80s, that guy used to be a Nazi doctor. Bounce.
Absolutely.
Bounce, cuz.
And again, best case scenario, he's doing like human centipede shit at that point in his career.
Oh yeah, best case scenario.
Exactly.
Your only hope is you get to be the front end of the centipede. It's your only hope left in life.
So Madeline gets to her castle mansion thing. Some circus performer answers the door, takes her to see Lissel, who gives Madeline a potion that will restore her youth and make her live forever. However, she isn't too clear on like the last point and some of the finer details. She just tells her, take care of your body since you would be together a long time.
It's almost like she made a deal with the devil, and the devil wasn't 100% honest with her.
Yes. And go figure, the devil was German.
You were right.
She looked pretty fucking Italian to me, pal.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Okay, you don't throw away that card, and then you go and you show up at the castle, and you got Fabio and the other circus performers that are answering the door in spandex, and you're like, this is fucking weird.
The extras from Xanadu.
And you're like, you know what? I'm pushing through. I'm gonna go. And she shows up. I'm taking whatever potion she's given me. It really doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, Isabella Rossellini is a world of class.
I like you potion you give me.
She is not ragu.
No, that shit's authentic.
She's prego.
After she shows Madeline how the potion works on her hand, Madeline immediately writes her a check, takes the potion, and before she leaves the mansion, she looks in the mirror and sees her wrinkles disappear and her body becoming firm and young again.
I love that scene, too.
It's a really...
Her butt's rising and her boobs come back up. It's fantastic. It's such a good scene. And for... Like, I know this isn't really like, oh my God, the CGI now. But still, for this time, they're doing a really good job with the little bit we've seen so far.
Yes. No, they've, for the most part, for this time, the CGI and some of the practical effects that they used in this were really good. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to take your mind out of 2023 for like a half a second and put yourself back in 92. And like, okay, this is when this came out. They do a really good job with all the effects.
Yeah, try and have Robert Downey Jr. in a mocap suit as Iron Man in 92. It ain't fucking happening, guy. It ain't ever happening.
No, you're going to see the strings like you did in Mannequin when she's using the hang glider. Meanwhile, Ernest is visited by Helen, who seduces him and discusses a plan to help her kill Madeline. And her plan is to drug Madeline, stage this car wreck, suggesting that Madeline was driving drunk and killed herself driving off a cliff. And when Madeline comes back home, she's super happy to be young again. And after fighting with her, Ernest ends up choking her out and then pushing her down the stairs. And he immediately calls Helen, basically revealing their whole plan and he thinks that Madeline's dead. And in the background, we see Madeline reviving with her head twisted backwards. And after straightening her head, they go to the local hospital. And this was one of the scenes that I really like. And I'm not going to do a don't do that here because Helen does the don't do that in this scene. If you're in this situation, I'm not condoning any type of behavior, but if you're in this situation and what you want to happen kind of fucking happens organically, don't call the person that you were like plotting with first. Call the cops immediately. And I mean, maybe look around and go, hey, does this look organic or does this look kind of shady? And if it looks organic, you call the cops. And then maybe you call her, like later, the next day or some shit. Don't call your accomplice immediately, because there are things called phone records that they can pull.
Yeah, no. And I mean, Helen even tells him, like, hey, stupid, they're going to pull the phone records. And Helen's problem here is, and where she screws up, is not just going, I don't know an Ernest, and hanging up the fucking phone.
Yes.
Like, immediately, I don't know what you're talking about. Goodbye. You don't talk on phones, kids.
Yes.
You just don't do it.
After this, they get to the hospital. It's Ernest and Madeline. They're at the hospital. The doctor's shocked when his stethoscope picks up no heartbeat, no pulse. Her shit's all messed up. And Ernest runs out. He's gone for a while. And when he gets back, he finds out that they've taken his wife to the morgue. He finds her at the morgue and claims that she's a modern medical miracle and decides to stick with her and stick it out and take care of her moving forward.
Yeah, and this is really where Bruce Willis is beginning to shine. The whole panic of what's going on with her and trying to explain it to the doctor who's not really listening. And then her being sent to the morgue and she's going to be so pissed at me and having to go down. Like,
yeah,
if you've ever been a husband or a wife and had the reason to be like, oh shit, she's going to be so pissed at me. extrapolate that to them being sent to the morgue accidentally.
Yes.
Not going to play well. I am totally with Ernest here. Like, oh, God.
The morgue? She'll be furious.
He then here takes her back home and goes to the mortuary where he gets formaldehyde and the rest of his tools. And this is all while Helen is following him, wondering what's going on because she thinks Madeline's dead. And she sees him like dragging her out of the car and putting her in the house and then going back to the morgue. So she doesn't know what the hell's going on. So he then paints Madeline's body with spray paint because that's how he paints the dead bodies. And during this whole process, Helen stops by with some of her tools to bury Madeline.
This is classic Goldie Hawn scene here too.
Yes.
Just showing up in a fucking widowed, weird safari outfit, but super fucking classy and like Beverly Hills, and all her tools are fancy and shit, and just everything she does here is pure Goldie Hawn, and it's perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Like Goldie Hawn, she was... I don't think she gets enough credit nowadays. I know she did back in the day, but I think a lot of people have forgotten how good she was as a comedic actress.
Yes, sir. If she's not the best, she's one of the best of this era.
She's definitely in the top 5 for sure of comedic actresses in this time. But so she shows up. Her and Ernest are going back and forth talking about the whole plot to kill Madeline. Madeline comes in with a shotgun because she overhears the whole plan. They get in a little squabble, and then Madeline shoots Helen in the stomach with the shotgun, sends her into the pool. And this, again, is where Bruce Willis is fantastic because he freaks out again. And he's running around. He doesn't know what to do. And as they're like laying out the plastic to put the body or to bury Helen's body, she comes up out of the pool, hole still in the inner abdomen. And Helen and Madeline realize that the other has taken the potion and they're both basically zombies at this point.
It's fantastic. The effects here, the fight that follows with the weapons and
using the shovels.
Madeline taking the broken shovel handle and trying to throw it at her, and it goes right through the hole. Everything about this was so well laid out. And I think this is what is very underappreciated in movie making that you can see demonstrated here very easily is almost the storyboarding of each step each character is taking and the choreography with how it's being played out and why it's being done this way and who's saying what, why the shovel gets broken so it can set up the throwing through the... This is all a beautiful example of movie making where you can extrapolate it all the way out to the very beginning to its final product.
Absolutely.
I love seeing shit like that.
No, it was set up beautifully, and they also so they get into this whole back and forth after the fight because they realize they can't kill each other now. So then they start to get into their feelings and they go back to when they were kids and you did this and you did that. You thought I was trash. And they basically just come to this understanding and this reconciliation. And they both go to Ernest to ask him to fix them.
And this is again where Goldie Hawn, and we haven't talked about Meryl Streep because, I mean, what is there to really say about Meryl Streep? She's probably the best actress to ever live. There's just not a lot to say about that. So, but her being in a comedy is so underappreciated because she's holding her own with Goldie Hawn this whole movie.
Yeah.
She does a fantastic job as well. And when those two now have teamed up and are focusing their attention on Ernest, dude, this for me is when the movie is just put into overdrive. Because Bruce Willis is a mess. These two are just condescending and low-key threatening because they know Ernest is terrified of him. Yeah. But they need him, so they're still trying to talk to him nicely, and they have no respect whatsoever for him as a human being, let alone a man. Yeah, dude, it's just this movie's great. This movie is so fucking good.
It is, and it's perfect here because they do go to Ernest. He does agree to help them, and spray paint them. And I don't know, put like teddy bear stuffing in Goldie Hawn's stomach, because I don't know how he fixes that piece of it. But he agrees on the condition that he's allowed to leave them forever as soon as he's finished. And they agree, but they immediately realize after he does the whole makeup and spray paint and yada yada, that they're going to need touch-ups. That shit's going to fade, shit's going to chip, stuff peels, whatever. So they go back to him and they need him to stick around. So they end up hitting him over the head, knocking him unconscious, and taking him to Lissel's mansion where she gives him the potion too.
This is right when Bruce Willis has his epiphany. Like, he's done with this.
Yep.
At first, he was curious as a doctor, and it was a medical miracle, and he had to see this through. And now he's just done. It's gross. It's evil. He wants completely nothing to do with either of these two women. And he's hit his point of clarity. He's hit his rock bottom. He's even done drinking now, which is why they have to hit him over the head, because they poisoned his drink.
Yeah.
They Cosby'd him, and he just dumped his alcohol out because he wasn't going to do it anymore. And so they hit him over the head, and it's just like, dude, Ernest never catches a break this entire movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny as fuck because he's so low down in the beginning of this movie that he kind of deserves everything he's going through right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, this is where he has like the little turning point, because Lissel's trying to get him to take the potion. And he said, like, he starts to think about it, and then he just puts the brakes on, because he realizes that, what if I'm lonely? What if I don't meet anybody? He's going to have to see, his friends and family like die while he lives. What about broken bones? Because he sees how messed up those two are. And like, you have to live with and that's the one thing that I liked about this. It's like, you get to live forever, but take care of your body. Because if you don't, you're fucked. You break a bone, that shit's broke. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't just heal. You're not a vampire where like the shit heals immediately or whatever. I like that piece of the script.
There is no such thing as YOLO when you're drinking this potion.
Yes, exactly. So he says no, and he realizes that he's going to have to basically live with Helen and Madeline for the rest of forever, basically.
Which, I mean, living with two white women for the rest of your life, Jesus Christ.
Two rich white women? Come on. He tries to escape. He takes the potion with him, but runs into Lissel's party where like Greta Garbo and Elvis and Marilyn Monroe and others are present there. And while continuing to try to escape, he gets chased by Lissel's dogs. He almost falls off the roof. He's dangling above the glass windows over the swimming pool. And then you see Helen and Madeline show up, and they basically demand that he take the potion so he'll survive the fall.
If you have the DVD of this movie, there's actually a cut scene of the party where Ernest bumps into John F. Kennedy, and Kennedy recognizes him and goes, can you fix the hole in my head? He doesn't. That doesn't happen.
I like your rewrite. So Ernest then drops the potion. It smashes and tells them that they're on their own before falling through the glass and landing in the pool, where he sees Jim Morrison with a woman who's taking off her clothes. And he finally escapes. And Helen and Madeline realize that they're stuck with each other here. And they have this like little moment together, like, well, I guess we're stuck with each other. And like, I'll spray paint your ass and I'll do your makeup and you do mine. And it's a little comedic moment together with them.
Yes.
Until
they realize that they're doing it forever.
Yes, exactly. And it then cuts to 37 years later. Ernest finally dies, and a funeral is held for him where the preacher basically reviews all of his accomplishments from the time he escaped to his death. He got remarried. He had a bunch of kids. He was a mountain climber, rock climber. He did all, all this stuff for charity and whatnot. And it cuts to them in the back of the church with the black veils on, and they're just laughing. Everybody in the church is turning around and staring at them. And Helen and Madeline go outside during the ceremony, and they take their veils off because, they got to touch their makeup and their spray paint up, and they look like absolute dog shit.
They look like wives 2 and 6.
They look like, remember the song Barbie Girl from I believe it was around this time? They basically looked like the rejects from that music video.
Pretty
but
much, yeah.
They sit and argue here over the can of spray paint that they lost, and then Helen accidentally slips on the can of spray paint that she dropped. They both fall down the stairs where they shatter into pieces, and the heads are still talking, but nothing's connected.
I love the look on Goldie Hawn's face, too, when she's falling down the stairs and she realizes Meryl Streep is not going to help her. And she just grabs her, too, to pull her down. Again,
dude, that's the move.
That's totally the move. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah, I'm taking you down.
Yeah.
If I'm going, you're coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, dude, all in all, when this movie was done, because I've seen this movie before. It's been forever since I've seen it. And I remember, maybe giggling at it, maybe laughing a little bit, yada, yada, whatever. This was a well-written, even better paced movie. And had a lot of funny parts. I've already said how much of a fan of Goldie Hawn I am. So she hit the ground running in this one. She was great.
Oh, yeah.
And again, Meryl Streep, for a serious actress, does comedy really well. And she plays the straight man or the straight woman in these comedies that she's in really, really well.
Yes.
Like we always say, know your role. Know your role. Know who you are. Know what you can do. Don't be a Jean-Claude Van Damme like, no, I'm the silly guy where I do the pratfall thing. No, you're not. Go kick some ass. Go have sex with a pretty lady. And then that's the end of the movie. Know who you are. She knows who she is, and she does it so well. And same with Bruce Willis.
Yes. I think that could be said about damn near everybody in this movie. Isabella Rossellini does a great job.
Yes.
He's even, like, of course she looks beautiful and she's lovely. But when, like, she's trying to get Bruce Willis to take the potion and she gets those crazy eyes and shit, she's intimidating as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, just everything about this movie, like you said, it's really, really good. There's not, ironically, unlike the two co-star, or unlike the two main female stars, there's not a blemish to be seen on this movie.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And going back to Isabella Rossellini, during that scene, I don't know what it was, but the crazy eyes, and she gets very aggressive here. And I don't know what happened, but I'm on my couch watching it, and I was just like, oh, spit in my mouth. I was like, oh, dude, something about it was just, I liked it. Turned me on a little bit.
Didn't hurt the 15 seconds before you got to see her glorious butt talks.
That's fair.
Hell yes.
I literally, going back to your whole, there wasn't really a blemish on this movie. Like, and even these movies that are like silly and, whatever, even if it's paced well, I'm kind of like, how much time's left? How much time I got left? I don't think I looked at it once.
No, it kept moving right along. It really did. Yeah, I don't really have a bad thing to say about this movie at all.
No, neither do I. And with that said, I know Corey appreciates it. I appreciate the donation and the request for this one. It's I like when we review good movies, especially good comedies.
Oh, those are the best. It's hard
Yeah.
to get us to say something bad about a comedy unless it's like She-Devil or Howard the Duck.
Yes.
You know, movies that aren't funny, but say we're a comedy. Like the Shakespearean version of comedy where things just end sad.
You were right.
With that said, if you don't have anything, I don't have anything. So
I got nada.
For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1992's Death Becomes Her.